Hey howdy, hey everyone, it's me, Chuck Chumbucket, and welcome back to a new video. Now, anyone who knows me knows that I love to read. The reason I love reading books so much is that they offer me stories which can have an impact on me and change me in a way that leaves me a different person who... Alright, I get it, reading isn't for everybody, but for me at least, I like doing it. Like, a lot. And because of that, I thought I'd share with you my top 5 favorite books. Oh, that was 10. And because of that, I thought I'd share with you my top 5 favorite books of all time. Number 5, Killing Kennedy. So the reason I like this book is simple. I happen to be a huge US presidents geek. As a matter of fact, I happen to be a huge US history geek. And having a book written about John F. Kennedy, one of my favorite, or if not my favorite US president, is really cool because I love hearing this account of his life and his unfortunate death, especially given the fact that he was a very influential figure for the 20th century. So it's a very interesting read and I highly recommend it. Number 4, The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. So even though I last read this book in 8th grade, it left such a strong impact and impression on me that I have no trouble coming up with reasons as to why I love this book. So I love fantasy stories. It's kind of cool being brought out of this plain reality and into cool new worlds that tell crazy stories with elements such as magic, dragons, and talking lions and whatnot. And the way C.S. Lewis writes his fantasy stories, it's kind of cool. While I'm not a huge fan of analyzing text the way you would in an English classroom when you're just reading for fun, I don't know, since I know a bit about Christianity, it's kind of interesting to see all the biblical references C.S. Lewis does when writing his stories. And what I also like is how efficient this read is. Like, it's a very short read. Like, look how thin it is. Compared to, like, Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter books, you could read this book in half, a third, a fourth, or even a fifth the amount of time it takes to read those books. And while I know the length of a book doesn't really matter in the end, it's kind of efficient to read a story in your favorite genre, and one of your favorite stories at that, in such a short amount of time. Number 3, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Since it's literally impossible for me to add anything to the conversation regarding why these books are so good, I'm instead going to talk about why I like this book in particular so much.
Nobody cares.
The first thing is time travel. I just love seeing characters fiddle with reality. I also like Remus Lupin. I think he's very tragic and interesting, and he's definitely one of my favorite characters in all of Harry Potter. And I also love the twist in this story. What we learn regarding the Prisoner of Azkaban is really cool, and it's definitely subverted my expectations. So yeah, normally I would recommend the book to you, but let's face it, you've probably already checked Harry Potter out and already know whether or not the series is for you. So there's not much I can say that'll probably change your mind. Oh well. Number 2, To Kill a Mockingbird. You know, I really don't know why I like this book. Like, I'm serious, I don't know why I like this book.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh yeah.
But if I have to think of something, I guess it's the characters. I love basically every character in this story, whether it's Scout, Atticus Finch. I mean, who doesn't love Atticus Finch? And Boo Radley. They were the 3 most memorable characters for me in the story. I also kind of like how it's told from the perspective of a really young girl. I mean, that doesn't really happen. It's kind of cool seeing a child describe a very serious story. I don't know. That's the best I could come up with. But yeah, it's a really good story, and I definitely recommend you read it if you haven't already. So if you're wondering what are my honorable mentions, here they are. Number 6 would have been The Catcher in the Rye. I thought it was a fun read, and yeah, it was pretty cool. And then there's Howl's Moving Castle. If you're a fan of the movie like me, you'll definitely like this. It's just as weird and funky as the movie. And then, surprisingly, there's The Brothers K. I had to read this for my English class sophomore year, and I ended up loving it. Thank you for making me read it, Mr. D. Number 1, The Lord of the Rings. And the reason I say Lord of the Rings broadly and not any specific book is because I really like them all equally, and I consider them to be one book because J.R.R. Tolkien, the author, he originally wrote them as one book. Anyways, there's a ton of reasons as to why I love this book series, so I'm going to try and speedrun through the reasons really quick. I love fantasy. The Lord of the Rings is a lot more serious than the Chronicles of Narnia and Harry Potter. The stakes are higher. Unlike other stories, main characters actually die and suffer consequences from the actions they undergo throughout the story. There is a ton of action, and while there are a lot of exclusively talking chapters, the ample amount of action all throughout the story definitely makes up for it, with the large action scenes only taking place on average a couple of chapters apart from one another. Gollum is a very cool, tragic, and interesting character who is definitely one of the best ever written in literature. The book does such a great job defining and developing characters that we all end up caring for them all throughout the story. The great variety of obstacles and settings in which the main characters go through all throughout this story really make us feel as if we are in the setting, Middle-earth, with them. Anyways, those are just a few of the reasons as to why I love this book so much. I love this book so much that I cannot recommend enough that you check it out. In fact, if you've already read it, I recommend you read it again. It's just that good. Between you and me, in the future, I definitely have to make a video regarding why I love Lord of the Rings so much. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you really liked it, can you please give it a like and then tap the subscribe button and then tap the notification bell? Why not? And that's all for now, and I shall see you guys later.